Well, the first thing was that I had to go to the Apple store and buy a screen, because I actually thought that, like in car design studios, you would get a whole range of technology to pick from. This is your work spot, and there's your 12-core machine and whatsoever. But it turns out that as a freelancer in the film industry, you're a one-man operation. Everybody has its own computer system, his own software licenses. But yeah, the first thing I worked on was actually getting a screen. After that was figured out in 2 hours. I think I started on the light cycle, but also on many other things, because what they did is we developed the variety of vehicles in a parallel process. And that actually helps to create like an integrity of looks over the whole range of vehicles in this film. I still consider myself an automotive designer. I think I cannot compete on the highest level with people that are really in the industry right now, because we see an unsurpassed amount of talent there. It's just, it renders me speechless to see the artwork of current show cars, and it's just beautiful and groundbreaking in terms of surfacing and proportions, and I actually render a lot of inspiration from there. And what a great time we live in, where you just go online and look at stuff. I still consider myself an automotive designer because I try to bring that sophistication into the very fast-paced film industry, where there are only a few productions that actually focus on surface quality. I'm happy that I, could join projects where this really matters, because as a designer, you're never happy. I think this is what drives you. Well, that specific case was because Joe Johnson, the director, is pretty smart. He knows so much about vintage planes and vintage cars that you better double check the stuff that you talk about on Wikipedia. And I remember this discussion about counter torque on huge engines in flying vehicles. So I found it fascinating that if you plant the power source not in the fuselage but at the external ends of the propeller, it doesn't create a torque in the fuselage. So you get away with one propeller. Because I started designing 2 counter-rotating props, which I saw in Schneider Cup speed planes, that had so huge engines that the power of the pistons or the engine would basically spin the fuselage and not the props.